Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is CJ Curry. This is the CJ Curry Show. It's proudly presented by PrizePicks. If you're not using PrizePicks yet, a 100% instant deposit match awaits you. Make your first deposit on PrizePicks. Use promo code Curry. Each dollar you put in, up to $100, will be instantly matched, meaning your first entry made on PrizePicks is completely on the house. It's completely free. Shout out to everybody who's already playing on PrizePicks. I know there's a lot of you out there who already play, but if you know anybody, have a friend, a family member who hasn't joined PrizePicks yet, tell them promo code Curry is going to give them the hookup, all right? Speaking of the hookup, I appreciate everybody out here joining me this morning. We got 13 NBA games. Hopefully you guys weren't too down and depressed yesterday on Taco Tuesday without NBA. Monday night treated us really well over in the Patreon and Discord community. Had ourselves a really good night over there. We'll take a look at some of the winners from the last couple of days and show you guys what we've been up to in the Patreon and Discord community. So shout out to everybody who continues to support what I do here on YouTube, what I do in Discord, what I do in Patreon daily. It means the world to me. Without you guys, there would be no me. So again, just showing my gratitude. I'm most humbled and definitely most appreciative. Let's run through the chat real quick. You've got Rumsey in the building. He says DeMar DeRozan over 22.5 points. Good value. All right, hold on to those picks. We'll have a Q&A portion of the show toward the end, last 15, 20 minutes or so. We'll take some of your questions. You guys can throw out some super chats if you want to help support the channel, support the content, and I'll guarantee that you guys get your voices and your questions heard through those super chats. Todd Live for Sunday says, good morning, CJ. Oh yeah, my Wednesday and Thursday off days. Here to blow up the huge slate for everyone tonight. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, it is Wednesday, which means if you do play on PrizePicks, it is happy hour today, meaning the minimum entry amounts are brought down to $1. So you could get in for as little as $1 instead of the normal $5. Turn $1 into $10, 10 times your money over on PrizePicks. So some of you guys with smaller bankrolls, this is a great day for you to cash in and to try out some new sports and throw a couple of 10x, potential 10x 5 picks out there and make 10 times your money on PrizePicks. Roy's in the building. He's talking a little bit about that DeRozan pick. Shout out to Roy. Thanks for being here. Kyle says, good morning. NBA is back. Let's get it, bro. We definitely will. Mike's in the building. Shout out to Mike. A couple of our Patreon gang members joining us. Bearded Gators here. He says, good morning. Good morning back at you. Everyday Fantasy, greeting to everyone. Thank you to the chef for his continued efforts. The money awaits us. If you're in here, hit the like button for your boy. Hey, I appreciate you, Mr. Everyday Fantasy, aka Don P in Discord. Thank you for letting the people know, giving them that gentle reminder. Liking today's show not only helps me grow the channel, helps get this message out to as many people as possible, but also I've been giving away a risk-free 2-pick power play to win $100 on PrizePicks every single day. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. What you got to do is make sure you're a subscriber. Make sure that you've hit today's like button. And then once the replay of this video goes up, you go to the comment section, you leave your favorite pick of the day. Your favorite pick of the day in the comment section, then you'll be automatically entered in to win a risk-free entry to win $100. It's a 2-pick power play. You get them both right, you win $100 on PrizePicks, all right? So I'm going to continue to give away a free entry a day. Bars. That's right. I'm dropping bars. That definitely did rhyme. Pat on the back for me. King United says, NBA is back after a day off. You're darn right. Damn, Skippy. It's back, and we couldn't be happier. Ronald Green with the solid what's up. What's up back to you. Jojo Rabbit's in the building. We got Matt Sessions. He says, shout out from Savannah. I'm guessing you mean Savannah, Georgia. Shout out to you. Ricky Carroll's in the building. He says, what's up, gang? What's up, RC? Joseph Thomas says, hey, CJ, thank you for helping me set up my Patreon account. The community has been a great help since joining. Well, I love to hear that, Joseph. JT, I'm glad you're a part of the community, brother. Appreciate you being there. Tay says, let's go. Yesterday made me so sad. Dude, you ain't lying. I was sad too. But now, we're back. I got my Orlando Magic hat on. I'm repping, even though it's Luka Doncic and he's probably going to kick our ass, you know? D'Angelo's in the building. He says, let's go, gang. We eat tonight. Daniel Thomas is here. Shout out to you, John Badger. Let's get it tonight. Hit that like button, fellas. Kwame says he's liking some SGA under fantasy points. Ooh, interesting. Milwaukee Bucks gave him a lot of issues. All right, we'll take a look at that. Taylor's talking about the Magic game. Yeah, Taylor, if you want to go, let me know. I'm about that live. 5:30 p.m. tip-off between Orlando and Dallas. Kind of a weird starting time for them. Don't know why that one's tipping off at 5:30 Eastern time, but it is nonetheless. Josiah's in the building. He says, "What's your locks today?" Don't make me do it, Josiah. I will Google the locks and show you the locks. Don't make me do it. I'll do it. No Limit is in the building. Shout out to you, back in action. Chris Raptor, Divine Truth, Alad, all the gang, man. Tyrone's in here. Shout out to everybody that I might have missed. Anyway, let's show you guys what the Discord community, the Patreon community has been up to over the weekend, gang. Told you that there was a lot of folks winning some money, and not the weekend, I should say. The last couple of days. Let me show you what the last couple of days have been like for our Discord community. Pull that up for you. Go over some of the wins that you guys have been cashing in on over the last couple of days. And then we'll get into today's action and see what's good with the NBA. I got a few picks, few plays lined up for you guys, so let's get into it. All right, this is our winner's circle inside of our free Discord. Yes, the Discord is free. There's a link down in the description below. Guys, there's bots in there. There's news channels and news feeds in there, keeping you up to date on everything that you need to know for all your player prop research. So if you're not in the Discord yet, go check it out. But yeah, this is Winner's Circle. This is where the gang posts their winning slips. So shout out to Blake. Blake had himself a fantastic Monday night. You see some of the winning slips, winning entries that he had there. $150, $100, $75. All right, my man was cashing in. We got Dub with a couple wins. Chelsea holding it down, playing some soccer picks over on PrizePicks. Shout out to Chelsea. He is our resident soccer guru. He's been definitely blessing the family with some very good picks. This was the 3-pick that we put together on Monday. We talked about Devin Booker under assists. I think that would have hit, but Chris Paul ended up getting injured, and therefore Devin Booker served a little bit more of a facilitator role. Derek White continues to be a fantastic underplay. We talked about him on Monday's show. And then Steven Adams, we took the over at 9.5 rebounds, but Steven Adams ended up being a DNP, did not play after all. But anyway, if you tailed that, you made a little bit of money. It was a 1.5x payout. We got Agent Vulture coming through with a 10x. Shout out to him. Here's some entries that I put together. Had ourselves a pretty good Monday night here. Went 4 for 5 out of this one, double up. This was the 3 picks that I posted to Patreon on Monday. We had Domantas Sabonis over 5 assists, Devin Booker under 5 assists, and then I had Steph Curry going over 3s. He absolutely eviscerated that 4 3-point make number going up against the Sacramento Kings. We got Mike posting some winning slips. Look at Koya, one of our Discord members. He's posting some winners. My man Taylor, he tailed some of the picks that I put out there. He cashed in. Shout out to Taylor. Don P, always holding it down. All right, so, I mean, we could go through this all day. There's a long list, a long train of winners. We got people winning with college basketball, with NHL. We've got football going on, NBA going on. All right, gang? So that's what we've been up to in the community. If you want to join, it's just $20 a month. Patreon link down in the description of this video. We would love to have you as part of the community. Just saying. Appreciate the sub, Josiah. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's play some Poeltl. Let's try to figure out who today's mystery player is, and then we'll get into today's NBA slate. Our thumbnail player of the day is Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans. They got themselves in a good game tonight against the Chicago Bulls. High-scoring, close total type of game. First guess, Zion Williamson. It is not Zion. In fact, it is not anybody from the Western Conference. We know that this is an Eastern Conference player, but this player could be a forward, which means guard forward or forward/center. This player is exactly 6'6". So I'm going to say this player is a guard or a forward. Older than 22 years old, and we know that the jersey number is going to be 1 digit higher than 1. Do you guys have any guesses who this might be? We could go ahead and bust out the silhouette right out the gate. I don't know who that is. 6'6". That kind of looks like Kristaps Porzingis or somebody. That's just my first. I mean, that kind of looks like a Porzingis silhouette, but there's no way it's Porzingis because this player is exactly 6'6". So I don't think that's Kristaps Porzingis. But it is definitely somebody from the East. We know that much, right? That could be a lot of different players. Taliban silhouette. What the hell does that mean? Taliban silhouette. I don't know what that means. It kind of almost looks like Frank Kaminsky, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out some names. Who that silhouette could possibly be. You guys are saying it's Evan Fournier. I'm seeing OG Anunoby. RJ Barrett. I don't know. We'll try RJ Barrett since that was the first one that kind of came through. This player does play for the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division. So we are very hot here with the RJ Barrett guess. Forward/guard, exactly 6'6". RJ Barrett, though, same age as Zion Williamson, 22 years old. Jersey number is going to be number 9. So we know this player does play for the Knicks. Can't be like a Julius Randle. That's not Randle's head. This guy's got more of a slender build. I mean, maybe Isaiah Hartenstein. I'm just throwing out some names there. What other Knicks are we talking about? New York Knicks. It's not OG Anunoby. You guys are saying Evan Fournier. I actually like that guess. Former Orlando Magic guard Evan Fournier. I think you guys may have gotten it right here. Bang! There it is. Evan Fournier. He is from France, by the way. I don't know where the Taliban comment is coming from, but he is from France. He is a French guy. Evan Fournier, yeah, he's losing his hair. He's getting a little bit up there in years, but it is Evan Fournier, who recently saw himself kind of demoted, right? He was in the starting lineup, has been replaced now by, Quentin Grimes. I think maybe even Isaiah Quickly joining that lineup, but Evan Fournier, longtime Orlando Magic. Prior to that, he was with the Denver Nuggets. After the Magic, went to the Celtics for a little bit. Now he's with the Knicks. You guys got it right. He is a guard/forward. He is 6'6". He's 30 years old, and my man's rocking jersey number 13. And whatever you do not go to Google and do not type in the word Fournier and do not click on images. It could get pretty gross pretty quick. If you guys have never done that, trust me, you're not missing anything, all right? You don't want to know what Fournier means. It's disgusting. All right, let's look at today's NBA slate here. We got 13 games like we talked about. Kind of a weird slate just because of the tip-off time being 5:30 between Dallas and Orlando. Guys, keep an eye out on the Dallas and Orlando game. There's a lot of impactful injuries here. Christian Wood is out for Dallas. That's a big one. Christian Wood kind of came out swinging at the beginning of the season, but since then he's kind of fallen off, kind of tapered off a little bit. Tim Hardaway Jr., a game time decision, so they're missing a couple of key components on that Dallas Mavericks team. And then over on the Orlando side, Paolo Banchero, a game time decision. I'd be surprised if he were to sit. Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Wagner, a bunch of people still out for Orlando, so we're going to be kind of shorthanded. But rumor has it that Fultz and Isaac are getting closer and closer to making their return. So I cannot wait as a Magic fan to see those guys back out on the floor. Now this game does have one of the lowest totals today, 214.5. Very low scoring game. I would quell your expectations just a little bit. Meaning I would probably avoid taking too many overs, too many more options here out of this game, being that it is 214.5 with Dallas as a 7-point favorite. Now, on the other side here, Denver versus Indiana, totally opposite situation here. We got 235 points on this total versus the 214 from the previous game. This one's going to be, hopefully, a lot of offense and a lot of fireworks here. As far as injuries go, nothing real crazy going on either side here. We're going to talk about at least one or two picks from this game. There's a couple of guys from both sides that I'm interested in taking. So this one, very high total at 235, one of the highest of the night with Denver as a 6-point favorite. Portland at Charlotte, 7 p.m., 219.5. Total's kind of on the low side for me, but we got Portland as 4.5-point favorites here. Lots of injury news for the Blazers, guys. Stay on top of this because we got Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, we got Grant, we got Nurkic, all game time decisions, all right? And on top of that, we got Winslow and Johnson and Butler. So lots of names here on the Portland side. Guys, got to stay on top of the news. That's how you find some value sometimes on these big slates. And then on the Charlotte side, Martin, game time decision. He did not play in the last game, but Terry Rozier did make his return back to the starting lineup for the Charlotte Hornets. So they're slowly but surely getting healthier. No Gordon Hayward or LaMelo Ball. So definitely stay tuned for that Portland Trailblazers news. 7:30 p.m. tip-off. We got the Jazz. We got the Hawks. This one's got a total of 227.5. Trae Young did not play in the last game. He is a game time decision for this game. If he does suit up, he's got a pretty nice little matchup here against the Utah Jazz. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson versus Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Should be a fun one. Surprisingly, the Utah Jazz are 9-3. They're one of the best teams in the league right now. How did it happen? When you trade Gobert away, Donovan Mitchell away, Bogdanovich away, Royce O'Neal away. I mean, they traded away like their pretty much everybody except for Mike Conley, their core, right? They traded away much of their core. Somehow they've come out of the gates with a fast start at 9-3. So shout out to the Utah Jazz. Totally unexpected, but nice total and nice spread. Detroit, Boston, 7:30 p.m. tip-off, 226.5, 12.5 point spread, blowout alert. All right, blowout alert. This game looks like it could definitely get out of hand here. So be careful taking too many overs from this game unless you just want to play first half only. That could be a strategy for you. If you think the game does blow out like it says it's going to, maybe you just stick to playing first half onlys on guys like Tatum or Brown, some of the stars from this game. As far as injuries go, nothing crazy happening in that one. New York at Brooklyn, the battle for New York. A couple of New York teams locking horns tonight. 222.5 points, 3.5 point spread. Quentin Grimes game time decision. If he's out, maybe they put Evan Fournier back in the starting lineup. We'll have to wait and see. Mitchell Robinson, though, is out. They're projecting Jericho Sims to start at center. Isaiah Hartenstein, I believe, has been that guy, though, who's been starting at center for New York. But you could see them go more small ball tonight, too, with Julius Randle playing center going up against Nick Claxton on the other side. Brooklyn, kind of a small team. They don't have like a true five-man. So New York could run some small ball lineups featuring Julius Randle playing the 5. Anyway, Kyrie Irving continues to sit out. Obviously, he's been suspended. So that's about all that we need to say from that one. Houston and Toronto, 224.5. Another game with blowout potential. 10-point spread here. Even though Pascal Siakam is going to be out, Toronto's still favored to blow the Houston Rockets out of the water. Guys, I don't have to tell you this, but opposing backcourts versus the Houston Rockets have been a great thing. There's been a lot of great overs being taken against the Houston Rockets when it comes to taking point guards and shooting guards. So that means Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., probably in really good spots going up against Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green tonight. Moving on from that one, New Orleans at Chicago, Zion Williamson in a nice little spot here against the Chicago Bulls. This one's got a 233-point total with just a 2-point spread. So hopefully the game does end up staying close and competitive. But yes, I'm liking this game as far as some overplays. Taking the more on some of the picks from this game may not be a bad look. Phoenix at Minnesota tipping off at 8 p.m. As far as injuries go, keep an eye on Chris Paul. As I mentioned, he got injured. He left the game early. He was dealing with some sort of heel situation. Cam Johnson also out. He's going to miss a couple of months, guys. They're going to be shorthanded. It's going to be Torrey Craig having to kind of fill the role for Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson. So I don't know. Maybe they could work things out with Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's not hurt. I think he's trying to get traded from Phoenix. Something happened between Jay Crowder and the Phoenix Suns, and for whatever reason, he's just not been out there. But maybe they could work it out with Cam Johnson being hurt. They could definitely use Jay Crowder's services. But keep an eye on Chris Paul. He's the big piece of injury news from this game. Otherwise, pretty decent total at 222.5 and a 1-point spread. Memphis at San Antonio. Now this one's got the potential for fireworks. 233.5 is the total, 5.5-point spread. Steven Adams sat out last game. We talked about him at the top of the show. If Adams is out again tonight, maybe Jakob Poeltl's in for an easier night on the flip side here. But this one seems to be one where the guards could really shine. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane. On the other side, you've got Keldon Johnson. They're still bringing Devin Vassell off the bench, but I like him tonight too. So we'll talk about some picks from that game. Milwaukee at OKC tips off at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Giannis Antetokounmpo, game time decision. He did end up playing in the last game against Atlanta. Drew Holiday is also on the game time decision list. This could be a good game for the Milwaukee Bucks to rest some of their stars going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Drew Holiday's looking like he's closer to doubtful than a game time decision. Giannis might end up playing, but they may not need all of their stars. This could be a good rest night for a guy like Drew Holiday, a veteran, going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who they're not very good. The total here is just 217.5. So somebody was saying taking the under on SGA might be a good way to go because he struggles against Milwaukee. Well, on top of that, we've also got a low low total game at just 217, so I don't mind some underplays from that one. 10 p.m., getting into some of the late night games here. Los Angeles Lakers versus Los Angeles Clippers. Battle for LA, right? Keep an eye on the Lakers. No LeBron James or Lonnie Walker in their last game. It ended up being the Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook show. AD could be in a good spot tonight going up against Ivica Zubac. I will tell you this. If you go back and look at some of Ivica Zubac's game logs against his former team, the Los Angeles Lakers, Zubac typically balls out against the Lakers. I will show you some numbers. We'll look at those together, but Ivica Zubac versus the Lakers might be a great way to go. Kawhi Leonard is out for the Clippers. Cleveland at Sacramento, the last game of the night here. Cleveland, one of the better teams in the league at the moment at 8-2. Sacramento, they're going to pretty much be full strength. I'm not really seeing any injuries that should be too impactful. Looks like Malik Monk's a game time decision, but he's closer to being very likely to play than he is doubtful. So there we go. That is the full rundown. 13 games, almost like Monday where we had 15 games. Quite a lot of action, quite a lot of news to stay on top of. But let's get into today's picks, right? I got some picks loaded up for you guys. Starting things off with Ja Morant. Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies. I talked about this game. He is in a very good spot tonight going up against the San Antonio Spurs. And I also mentioned Devin Vassell. So we'll look at both of those guys. But let's get our PropStat Cash pulled up here and start looking into these a little bit closer using PropStat Cash, one of the best player prop, if not the best player prop tools in the business. 25% off your first month of PropStat Cash when you use promo code Curry. Guys, I've left a link for you to take advantage of that offer down in the description of today's video. So we're going to load up today's lines using PropStat Cash. Let's go ahead and filter out all the games. We just want to look at Memphis versus San Antonio. We click on Ja Morant's name. It's that easy. And then we can take a look at the season averages for Ja Morant. Now he's at 28.5 points tonight. It sounds like a lot of points, but he's done very well against San Antonio historically. And we know Ja Morant is one of the top usage guys in the league, right? Meaning he touches the ball a lot. He's very involved. His role with the Memphis Grizzlies, very, very active and involved. But anyway, so far this season, he is 5 for 10. 5 for 10, just a 50% hit rate, mind you. But when we look at last season against San Antonio, he absolutely torched them. Lit them up. 30 points, 41 points, and 52 points against the San Antonio Spurs. So you see what kind of upside, you see what kind of potential a guy like Ja Morant has in a matchup with the San Antonio Spurs tonight. 30, 41, and 52 points going up against the likes of who? Trey Jones? Are we worried about Trey Jones slowing down Ja Morant, one of the youngest, most exciting players in the league? I'm not really worried about it. Anyway, taking a look at some of the defensive numbers here for the San Antonio Spurs, there's a lot of green here. They rank dead last in terms of points allowed to opposing teams, meaning they're giving up a ton of points to opposing teams. The number one highest field goal percentage allowed by any defense in the league. They rank 11th in total threes allowed, 25th in three-point percentage allowed, just 3rd in free throws allowed, and they're 27th in point guard defense. So yeah, this is a pretty good matchup here for Ja Morant. Now I told you guys about Ja's usage. Well, let's take a closer look using NBA advanced stats on NBA.com. So we'll pull up the Memphis Grizzlies and I'll let you guys kind of take a look at Ja's usage. Hit get stats here and you can see he is a usage monster. 35.6% usage rate amongst the Memphis Grizzlies, which is by far the highest, right? And even if we take the filter of the Memphis Grizzlies off and we take a look at just who the highest usage players are in the league, Ja Morant is right there at the top at 35.6% usage rate, trailing only Giannis Antetokounmpo and Luka Doncic. I'm not going to include Dwayne Washington Jr., Jaden Springer. Don't know why they're even on the list, but it pretty much goes Luka, Giannis, and Ja Morant as your top 3 usage guys in the league. So we know the ball's going to be in his hands. We know he's going to be active. He's going to be involved for the Memphis Grizzlies. So the matchup looks pretty darn good so far. Let's take it a step further. We'll pull up the DVP, defense versus position numbers. We want to see how many points per game that the San Antonio Spurs are giving up to point guards. Now, it looks kind of bad here at 23.4, but again, got to factor in who we're talking about. We're not talking about some scrub point guard. We're talking about Ja Morant, one of the best in the league, highest usage type of guys. So he's going to be in a really good spot. We've seen what he can do going for 50 or more points in some games versus San Antonio last season. He's just an absolute monster. All right, and he's due for like a breakout game. I feel like he's just due for one of those types of games. Let's get you a projection here on Ja Morant. We're looking at his points. Got him projected for about 28 tonight. If you look at where he's at on Sportsbook, guys, he's at 28.5, exactly where PrizePicks has him. So he's right in line here with the number on PrizePicks at 28.5. But you see the type of upside, the potential is definitely there going up against the San Antonio Spurs. The spread on the game, Walker, you're asking what is the spread? It's actually pretty reasonable. It's 5.5 if I remember correctly. Let me double check. Yeah, 233.5 total with just a 5.5 point spread. So I think it looks pretty decent, right? Hopefully it stays close, competitive. Hopefully we see 4 quarters of Ja Morant. If we do, I just don't see anybody on their team who is going to slow this guy down. Now, if you wanted to go maybe a safer route, I don't know if we call it safer, but a guy with another great matchup is Desmond Bane at 21.5. I think he makes for a fine play as well. Either one of these guys versus the San Antonio Spurs, I think they're both in really good spots. Bane's line at 21.5, 7 points lower than Ja Morant at 28.5. But I like both. I think both look good. What do you guys think? Are you like a Ja Morant for more than 28.5 points or less than 28.5 points? Are you liking Desmond Bane more than Ja Morant? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you're liking this one. But so far, I would say that my lean would be taking Ja Morant for more than 28.5 points, just based on what we've seen him do, 30 or more points in all 3 games versus San Antonio last season. Now, this other guy, Devin Vassell, has been a great young prospect this season. We saw a little bit of him last season, but he's really blossomed, really kind of come into his own this season with the likes of DeJounte Murray out of the picture. Derek White rather is no longer in the picture. So kind of, opened the door here for Devin Vassell to ball out. Now he's been coming off the bench for the last couple of games, dealing with a little bit of an injury. They moved him to the bench, but still, when he comes in with that second unit, guys, he has been that dude. He has been that dude who comes off the bench and kind of heats up quickly, takes a lot of shots. So let's look at Devin Vassell real quick, who's sitting at 17.5. What has he done this season? Well, he has gone over 17.5 in 5 out of 7 games. We'll take a 71% hit rate. I think that looks pretty good. He's averaging 20.7 points per game for the season. His line is 17.5. That's a 3.2 point difference, his average versus his line tonight in a high-scoring game against the Memphis Grizzlies. In his last 5 games, his average has shot up to 22.2 points. So I think Devin Vassell is in a very good spot. Looking at the Memphis defense, we're seeing a lot of green here. 21st in points allowed, 24th in three-pointers allowed, which is Devin Vassell's specialty. He likes shooting the 3 ball. If we got a 3-point prop for him, I'd probably take that too. 24th in free throws allowed, so that's some of the highlights from this particular matchup here. Speaking of matchup, let's go take a look. Now he's going to be the shooting guard / small forward, so we'll take a look at the Memphis Grizzlies. They're giving up over 24 points per game to opposing shooting guards. Guys, that's top 10 type of points allowed to the shooting guard spot. We'll also look at the small forward position. 23.7 points per game to small forward. So if you're Devin Vassell, if you're Keldon Johnson, you're probably licking your chops tonight. But I like Vassell a lot better at just 17.5. Keldon's up at 22.5. So I think I'll go with Vassell off the bench at 17.5. Looking pretty darn spicy to me. Moving over to a projection here for Vassell. 20.6 projected points. Guys, he's on most sports books at 18.5, meaning we're getting value here on Vassell at just 17.5. On some of these sites like Rivers Resort, Unibet, Bet Rivers, Parks, he is a betting favorite to go over 18.5 points. We like seeing that. He's a point lower on PrizePicks. He's a betting favorite to go over even at 18.5 on some of these books, and his projections sitting at 20.6 in a high-scoring game with a fairly close spread at 5.5 points. But yes, I think Vassell looks very good tonight in a good spot. Are you guys like a Vassell for more than 17.5 points? Let me know, chat. Let's take a vote here. Leave a thumbs up in the chat if you're liking Devin Vassell. I think he's in a great spot. He's been scoring the ball very, very well. very, very well. So those are two guys from that San Antonio-Memphis game to keep your eye on. And then, of course, like I mentioned, if you don't like Ja Morant, maybe he's a little too high at 28.5 for your taste. Desmond Bane, 21.5 is another solid option, another good way to go. All right, but both of these guys are going to be on my playlist tonight. Moving on from that one, we got another game where it's a high scoring total with a guy who has just continued to shoot the lights out. He's got the ultimate green light for his team, right? He's been scoring a lot of points. I'm talking about Tyrese Halliburton. He is no stranger to today's show. He's been on this show quite a bit. Tyrese Halliburton taking on the Denver Nuggets tonight. Just to refresh your memory, guys, this is a high total game here. We're talking about 235 points, 6-point spread. Will Denver eventually win? Probably, because Indiana's just not as talented as Denver, but this is a great spot for Tyrese Halliburton. I'll show you why. Let's first take a look at some of the game logs here for Halliburton. Hallelujah. 19.5. He's covered this in 7 out of his last 10 games, 70% hit rate. He's averaging 21.7 points per game this season. So again, this is a number where he's averaging 2 points or more higher than his line today at 19.5. Over the last 5 games, still averaging a healthy 20.8. He had a bit of a down game against Brooklyn, so kind of a stinker there, but otherwise 4 out of his last 5, 7 out of his last 10. We take a look at the Denver Nuggets, a lot of green and yellow. We like green and yellow. We don't like red. Red should make you hesitate or pause to take the more or the over on a prop, but in this case, we're getting some green here. They rank 29th when it comes to point guard defense. Speaking of the matchup, we're going to go look at the DVP, defense versus position. Denver, second most points per game allowed to opposing point guards at about 28.5 points per game. 28.5 points per game allowed. He needs 20 or more to hit for the over, right? Matchup looks really, really good here. In terms of usage, we know he's going to be one of the highest usage players in the league. Let's go take a look at his number. Just for comparison's sake, Luka Doncic, 38% usage rate. So let's see how that number stacks up against Tyrese Halliburton. So we'll go down here, click the Indiana Pacers, click Get Stats. And Halliburton not doing too shabby here. He's at 24% usage rate. Kind of splitting the usage with the guys like Miles Turner, right? Buddy Hield's up there. He's another guy. Guys, we talked about Buddy Hield's 3-point makes on Monday. He ended up going over his 3-point makes against the New Orleans Pelicans. Buddy Hield continues to be green light from beyond the arc. 10 or more 3-point attempts. So definitely take a look at Buddy Hield, and we'll look at one of his props today. Not a 3-point prop, but we'll look at him. Anyway, Tyrese Halliburton amongst the leaders on his team in terms of usage rate. So he's going to be another guy that is in a great spot tonight. Getting you a projection on Halliburton. He's projected for 20.4. That's nearly 1 full point higher than where he's at 19.5. Guys across the board here. He is at 19.5 on all sports books. A lot of juice coming in on the over here. Minus 130, minus 125. Betting favorite to go over 19.5. Do you guys agree with the betting public on this prop? Do you think that Tyrese Halliburton is in a good spot to go for 20 or more against the Denver Nuggets tonight, who are giving up, like I said, over 28 points per game? I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty solid on paper. His PRA could be another good way to go once we get it, because it's not up on the board at the time of me starting this live stream. You could also look at his points plus assists. I think that's another solid option. So PRA, points plus assists, if you don't want to take just the pure points on their own. The Real Quan says he's liking the points and assists. Let's see if they've added Halliburton. No. He's still not up on the board, gang. No Halliburton points plus assists yet. We don't even have his PRA up on the board. All right. So they're playing keep away with us. PrizePicks knows what's up. So yeah, you could just take the points on their own. Still a 70% hit rate. I like 70% hit rates. So far we got Vassell going for more than 17.5 points. We got Halliburton over 19.5. And I'm liking Ja Morant. I'm going to stick with it. I know it's a high number, but this guy is a ball player. So I'm going to stick with Ja Morant at 28.5 points. But guys, if you want to take Desmond Bane, you can. Let's talk about some first half plays. Starting with this guy, Buddy Hield. We mentioned him just a minute ago. Ultimate green light. You could take his 3-point prop. PrizePicks does have his 3-point makes up on the board. He continues to shoot 10, 11 or more 3-pointers per game. has just been a bucket. Since joining Indiana last season, and especially this season, he has just been getting buckets. His first half points continues to hit. Let's pull up a larger sample size here. And to do that, we'll use StatMuse. You can go Buddy Hield first half points logs this season. This should get us the results that we want. Boom. All right, cool. So his last 5 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has gone over in 5 straight games. Make it 6 out of 10 this season, 60% hit rate. I think that's a very solid option. Buddy Hield at 10.5 points. He's just been on fire. Now, if this does get bumped, like what just got bumped? Something got bumped here. Oh, Devin Vassell just got bumped from 17.5 to 18.5. So hopefully you guys were able to get it in at 17.5. So we'll take him off the list now that he's up to 18.5. But Devin Vassell, that was a very solid option if you got him in at 17.5. Buddy Hield, though, absolutely on fire. 10.5 points. He's covered it in 5 straight games. We already talked about this game having a very high total here, but even if you're worried about the blowout, playing first half only on a player like Buddy Hield is not a bad option whatsoever. Taking a look here at Buddy Hield and kind of what he's been up to over his last 10 games, you can see his scoring has went way up in the last like 6 games or so. And we mentioned his 3-pointers have just been off the charts. He's shooting 10, 12, 9, 11, 10, 12, 13 3-point attempts in his last game. So if he continues to shoot that many threes, gang, you could take either the points or you could go over to the 3-point makes, and I think that makes for a fine option as well. Oh, yeah, he's still there. There he is. Yeah, he's been splashing some threes. He's hit the over on his 3-point makes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10. So 60% on the first half points, 60% on the 3-point makes. I think both of them are pretty fine options. Taking a look at the matchup here. Buddy is typically a shooting guard, right? Shooting guard / small forward. Going and finding the Denver Nuggets and seeing how many points they allow will be helpful. They give up over 23 points per game to shooting guards, and they give up about 3.2 3-point makes to shooting guards as well. So I think Buddy's in a pretty darn good spot here. Let's get you a projection on Buddy Hield. He is at 18.6 projected points. His full game is at 19.5. I don't have any first half projections for you, unfortunately, but let's also look at the 3-point projections. Projected to make 4 threes tonight. He is a slight betting favorite, it looks like, on most books to go over 3.5 3-point makes. So Buddy Hield, first half points at 10.5 looks solid in this matchup against Denver, or you could take the 3-point makes. He's just shooting like about a dozen threes per game. When you have that type of volume, I think it's a pretty good look. So you could take the over there, you could take the over there. And then the last guy, I'm surprised they gave this to us because he has just been so lights out lately. We're talking about Michael Porter Jr. from that same game. And we're looking at first half only for MPJ. And we're looking at his points plus rebounds plus assists. This is no secret. For those of you who play daily fantasy here on PrizePicks, you know that Michael Porter Jr. has been absolutely getting the job done at 14.5 PRA, right? 24 against Utah, 15, 16, and 21. We've seen Jokic's scoring take a dip with Jamal Murray coming back. And as a result, Michael Porter Jr.'s scoring has been up. He's been doing a very good job covering this 14.5 first half PRA. He's going up against Indiana tonight. So we're not really worried about the matchup against the Pacers. They're not a very good team, gang. But we do like the high scoring total here, and I think that will benefit a guy like Michael Porter Jr. at just 14.5 PRA. Again, let's get a full spectrum here of all the games that he's participated in. We'll go Michael Porter Jr. first half points plus rebounds plus assists. Now you can abbreviate these too, by the way. PTS for points, plus sign, REB, plus sign, AST for points, rebounds, and assists. StatMuse, pretty smart, all right? They let you kind of abbreviate. But looking at what Michael Porter Jr. has done here with this 14.5 first half PRA, right? 21, 16, 15, 15, 24, 16, 17, and 16. So he's hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 9 games, including 8 straight. So yeah, this is just one of those ones where you just continue to click more. You continue to click the over, hope for the best results. He just continues to smash this number, knock it out of the park at 14.5. As long as Jokic continues kind of defer, passing the ball to MPJ, to Aaron Gordon, to Bones Highland, to Bruce Brown, to Jamal Murray, right? As long as Jokic isn't scoring like he used to, guys like Michael Porter Jr. can continue to eat. So I think this looks like a very worthwhile option for you to take. That's about all I have to say about that. I mean, we could look at the matchup. Porter Jr.'s power forward is going up against Indiana. The Pacers, as far as matchup goes, he'll probably be matched up against Jalen Smith, but they're giving up about 19 to 20 points per game, about 8 to 9 rebounds per game, and about 4 to 5 assists per game. That's for full game against power forwards. So I think Michael Porter Jr. is in a really good spot. Another one that they're not giving us that I would definitely say keep your eye on if we do get it at some point in the day would be Michael Porter Jr. for more than 2.5 3-point makes, if that is his line today. If he's at 2.5 3-point makes, hit the over on that too, because Michael Porter Jr. has definitely been covering that 3-point make prop more often than not. Just quickly taking a look at his 3-point makes, guys, you see what he's been doing here. First game against Utah was a bad game for him. Didn't cover the first half PRA, didn't cover his 3-point makes, but ever since then, 3-point makes have been on fire. 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4. Prop Stat Cash has his line at 2.5. He's 8 of 9. So if you could get his 3-point prop anywhere, I would say take it for more than 2.5. All right, that's it for me. That's all I got. So we talked about Michael Porter Jr. over 14.5 PRA. We talked about Tyrese Halliburton for more than 19.5 points. Buddy Hield for more than 10.5 first half points. Ja Morant for more than 28.5 points. And Buddy Hield for more than 3.5 3-point makes if you don't like the first half points. And we mentioned Devin Vassell for more than 17.5 points. That one just got bumped to 18.5, gang. So if you have questions, this is the Q&A portion of the show. Leave a super chat if you want to guarantee that I go into deep, dark research on the prop in your super chat. If you don't want to leave a super chat, I cannot guarantee that I will get to all the questions, but this is your time to shine, gang. If you have questions, hopefully I have answers. I'm here to help for the next 15 minutes or so. I'll take as many questions as I can. Appreciate all the support, all the new subscribers, all the likes, and everybody who is part of Patreon who's joining. Appreciate that as well, guys. Patreon's just $20 a month. You can get in on Patreon, join the community, be a part of a family-friendly type of atmosphere where our main objective, our only goal, is to make sure that everybody is winning more. So, guys, if you have questions, hit me with them. Hit me with them. Oh, before we get into your questions, I talked about a guy that had done really well, Ivica Zubac, against his former team. I said I would bring up his game logs. Ivica Zubac versus Lakers logs. He does really well typically against the Los Angeles Lakers. And I want to say that maybe his fantasy score has been good. Let's clear the deck here real quick. Boop, boop, boop. Clear those picks off. And then we'll go over to Zubac. Do they have him up for anything yet? All right, so we got his points at 10.5. We got his rebounds at 10.5. We've got his PRA at 22.5 and his fantasy score at 28.5. So let's do this. Ivica Zubac, FanDuel points versus Lakers logs. So you can see what he's done in his last 2 meetings against the Los Angeles Lakers, gang. 45.9 fantasy score. That was this season, October 20th. Played 35 minutes, dropped in 14 points with 17 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 big blocks, but also had 5 crushing turnovers. But no problem for him. At 28.5 fantasy score, I think he's in a really good spot against the Lakers tonight. So I like that. And then the previous game, which was from last season, March 3rd, he played 25 minutes and ended up with 40.3 fantasy score with 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks in that game, 8 for 11 from the field. So he's done really well against the Lakers in his last couple of games here. Another way that you can play Zubac is for first half. I don't know if we've got his first half up yet. Let me look. He has been a pretty good first half fantasy type of guy. We do have him up at 14.5. So let's look at that. Ivica Zubac, 1H, which stands for first half, FanDuel points versus Lakers. So he had 19.7 and 19 in his last couple of games. 19.4, 15. So he's in a pretty good spot at 14.5 fantasy score for first half only. So if you wanted to go there, couldn't blame you for that. You could also look at his points. He scored 8, 10, 10, 8, 7. His points are just at 5.5, so that could be another way. But revenge narrative seems to be real here for Zubac in his last couple of games. Now that he's seeing more playing time this season, I think he's in a very fine spot going up against the Lakers. We know the Lakers' interior is not very good. Look at the center spot. We go over to the FD points. That stands for FanDuel points or fantasy score, whatever you want to call it. Guys, the Lakers are giving up the third most fantasy points per game to opposing centers. We've already seen him crush it once against the Lakers this year. They're giving up over 62.3 fantasy points per game. This guy's sitting at 28.5, did we say, for full game? Yeah, 28.5 at full game. They're giving up over 62 to opposing centers. So I think he's in a good spot. I'll get you a projection on Zubac here using Fantasy Labs. They've got him projected for 35 fantasy points, gang. 35 fantasy points versus 28.5. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and lock it in. Let's go ahead and build something real quick. Let's build out a little entry here. We're going to start with Zubac at 28.5 fantasy score. I like that one. What was one of the other ones that we had talked about? We talked about Ja Morant points. I really like what he's done against San Antonio. I think I'm going to stick with Devin Vassell. Even at 18.5, I think he could get 20 plus points tonight. I know they bumped it from 17.5 to 18.5. I'm taking it anyway. What was another one that we talked about? We talked about Buddy Hield for first half fantasy, but I think I'm going to go a different route. I think I'm going to go take his 3-point makes at 3.5. That one continues to be a very strong option. And we'll go another full game prop here. We'll keep this all full game. We'll go Tyrese Halliburton's points. Tyrese is at 18 or 19.5, and he's going up against the Denver Nuggets, who are giving up a ton of points to point guards. So we got Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield for more than 19.5 points and 3.5 3-point makes. I'm going to take the bump. Normally I don't, but he's at 18.5 on the books and being bet over at even at 18.5. But yeah, the value is 17.5. I'm going to go Ja Morant at 28.5 points and Ivica Zubac for more than 28.5 fantasy score. I'll throw 25 on it. And we'll rock with that, man. That little 5 pick there. We'll see how it goes tonight. Zubac versus the Lakers. Ja Morant over 28.5, Vassell over 18.5, Buddy over 3.5, and we'll go Halliburton over 19.5. Boom. Lock it in. You guys feel free to tail if you want. All right, let me get to your questions. Josh is saying, Zubac fouls too much, and he's got to guard AD today. I'll pass. Well, you can pass if you want, but he has dropped 40-plus fantasy score in 2 of his last 2 games against the Lakers. He's at 28.5 today. Yeah, sometimes he can foul a little bit, but that's too big of a gap for me to say no to. When he's dropping 40 plus on the Lakers and he's at 28.5 and then he's projected for over 35, I'm going to take a shot on it, Josh. That's why we flex, right? It's a 5-pick flex. We're allowed to even miss one on PrizePicks and still cash. So I understand your concern, but I'm going to stick with it. Tony Ruiz says, thank you for the content and the research. He's liking Isaiah Stewart of the Detroit Pistons versus the Boston Celtics for fantasy score or PRA over. Tony says, hit that like button. Yes, if you haven't hit the like button and subscribed yet, you're going to want to do both of those things so you don't miss out on any content. Plus, once the replay goes live, leave a comment in today's comment section, your favorite pick, your favorite prop of the day, and you'll be automatically entered in to win a risk-free 2-pick power play. You get both of the picks right in that entry, you win $100 on PrizePicks. I'm giving away a free entry a day. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a loved one to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment with their favorite pick of the day. And maybe they could be the next winner. Anyway, let's go talk about some Isaiah Stewart versus the Boston Celtics. He's saying fantasy score or PRA. I did take Isaiah Stewart in the last game that he played over fantasy score going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it ended up working out for me. He dropped in 37.9, nearly 38 fantasy score. He's at 25.5 today for fantasy score. He also mentioned that he likes Isaiah Stewart's PRA. He's hit this in 4 out of his last 5 games as well. So let's take a look at this here. Which is the better way to go? Fantasy score or is it PRA? Let's get you a fantasy score projection. I got his fantasy score projection at 27.7, 2.2 fantasy score higher than where he's at 25.5. As far as PRA goes, points, rebounds, and assists, we got Stewart at 21.5 projected PRA. Now, we're not really getting any value on this line. What do I mean by value? Well, when I say value, I mean like Devin Vassell, when we looked at his point line at 17.5, he was at 18.5 on most sports books. That is what we call value. Getting a little bit of a discount on PrizePicks versus some of these sports books, right? So in this case, on Isaiah Stewart's 20.5 PRA, not really getting any value on this one. But he does have a solid projection of 1 PRA higher than what his line is at 20.5. And then across the board here at 20.5 on the different sports books, looks like the betting public like him to go over. So we're seeing good juice, good odds, minus 130 on most of these sites here to go over at 20.5. So that's looking pretty good. What about the matchup? So Isaiah Beef Stew Stewart, he plays the center position. He is going up against the Boston Celtics. So we go down here. Fantasy score, Boston's given up about 48 per game when it comes to fantasy points. Why isn't that number higher? Well, I can tell you why. It's because they haven't allowed centers to get a lot of steals, just 0.35 steals per game to centers, or blocks, just 1 block per game to opposing centers. If those metrics were higher, they would definitely be further up on this list here. Let's take a look at the individual statistics, the points, the rebounds, and the assists that Boston's giving up to centers. So they're like middle of the pack, giving up over 21 points per game. You can kind of see where they rank, right? Right in the middle. So that's not bad. Where they really struggle is on the glass. They're giving up over 17 rebounds per game to opposing centers. That is the 4th most rebounds to big men. So maybe we consider some Isaiah Stewart at 9 rebounds. He's had 13, 11, 10, and 12 in 4 out of his last 5 games. Boston struggles to stop opposing bigs from getting on the boards. Giving up 17 per game. He needs at least 9 for the push, 10 for the win. And then in terms of assist, 3.4 assists per game. That's not a very high nor low number. They're kind of, again, right in the middle of the pack when it comes to assists allowed per game. So I think the rebounds look really good for Isaiah Stewart in this matchup. But I don't hate the fantasy score either, because Beef Stew, he is known to get some blocks. And if he can even tack on a steal or something, I mean, we're really in good shape. Let's take a look at all his game logs for fantasy score this season. So you go Isaiah Stewart, FanDuel points, logs. And he's at 25.5 today. So how many logs do we have here? And then how many times has he cleared 25.5? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games played so far. Out of those 11 games, he's gone over 25.5 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of 11. That is a very high hit rate. 9 out of 11. Has not faced Boston yet this season. But 9 for 11, covering 25.5 fantasy score, looks pretty darn good. Now, what about his rebounds? How many times has he hit 9 or more boards? His number is 9 today. So he's hit in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 11 games with at least 9 or more rebounds. In 7 of those games, he's gone over 9 rebounds. So I think Isaiah Stewart's rebounds are in play. The fantasy score is in play. I don't know if I like the PRA quite as much. I think I like the fact that he's good for usually like a block or 2. And he's decent at getting steals. A couple of games here where he's had 2, 2, 1, 2 steals. But his blocks, he's usually good for at least 1 block. 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And those are worth 3 points apiece. If he can limit his turnovers to like 1 or 2, he should be fine for fantasy score today. So I think I'm going to leave the PRA off and advise that you go either rebound or fantasy score. And you could take this a step further. You could do Isaiah Stewart FanDuel points versus the Celtics logs. And you can get an idea how many fantasy points he scored versus the Boston Celtics in his career. He's faced them a total of 6 times. He's covered his 25.5 fantasy score in 1 of 6. So not the greatest hit rates in terms of his fantasy score versus Boston. As far as rebounds go, he's hit the over on his rebounds in 2 out of 6. So slightly higher hit rate on the rebounds. But I like either one of these. I think either one of these look really solid. We mentioned his rebounds. Let's get you a projection on those. He's projected for 9.7 boards. Slight betting favorite at 9.5 to stay under. But he does have a lot of rebound chances. What are rebound chances? Well, they're kind of like field goal attempts, free throw attempts, or 3-point field goal attempts, right? It's a player's opportunity to grab a rebound. So let's go see how he ranks amongst his team. And hopefully you guys are paying attention about how thorough I am when I go through researching a player or a player prop. Hopefully you guys are taking notes and you're taking mental notes of what goes into my research methods, my strategy, my process, I guess you could call it. This is me in the lab, so to speak. Giving back to our guy Tony here for the super chat. Again, appreciate the super chat, Tony. But I like to look at things from as many angles, different points of views, and perspectives as possible. So I'm checking the rebound chances. This is just another wrinkle in my process, so to speak. 18.4 rebound chances per game for the Detroit Pistons, right? Dominating. He's dominating the rebound chances on his team. By far, number 1, no questions about it as far as rebound chances go. He's averaging 9.9 rebounds per game. So of the 18.4 rebound chances per game, he's converting those at a 54% clip. All right? Which leads to the 9.9 rebounds per game. So I think the rebounds look like a really solid option as well. I think the fantasy score looks good too. I'm down with either one. Whichever one you want to go with, buddy. I think both of those look good. So hopefully you feel like you've gotten your money's worth on your super chat. We did a deep dive on Isaiah Stewart. I think we've kind of weeded out the PRA. I think the fantasy score, the rebounds would be my favorite way to go. Let's see. Who else are we talking about, guys? I'll take a few more questions. MPJ is out. Oh no. Michael Porter Jr. is out tonight. That is not good. Let's refresh the news feed here. Do we have official confirmation? Not yet. Not according to RotoWire, but maybe they are a little slow to react. But Michael Porter Jr. being out is pretty big news. So yeah, don't play his first half PRA. Or once it goes DNP, if he is truly out, then you can go ahead and you can cancel that if you want. Appreciate you, Tony. Thanks for the super chat. George is saying that MPJ is out due to a back injury. Todd Live for Sunday says, can we please look at Jason Tatum for first half PRA? First half PRA. Jason Tatum. Let's go. Where is he at? So you got the fantasy score at 22.5. He's 3 out of his last 5. You get the first half PRA 4 for 5. So he's got a slightly better hit rate when it comes to first half PRA. So I could see why you're probably leaning more toward that than anything else. Using StatMuse once again, Jason Tatum, first half points plus rebounds plus assists logs. Kind of get an idea of what he's been up to this season. Starting back at 10-18. Let's type in this season there so we could weed out these other ones. He's at 20.5. He's hit the over at 20.5 PRA in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 10. 80% hit rate covering 20.5 first half PRA. He has yet to face the Detroit Pistons, but we know that the Pistons are a young struggling squad. So are we scared of the Pistons for any reason? I don't think so. I don't think they've got the goods to slow down Jason Tatum. But let's just take a look here. They're giving up over 24 points per game. That is the 5th most points allowed to power forwards. Go to the rebound section here. Detroit's given up over 12 boards per game to power forwards. That is the 2nd most. And then we'll take a look at the assist section. They're giving up over 4.3 assists. That is a top 10 number. So they rank in the top 5, top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists allowed to opposing power forwards. So I think Jason Tatum is a fine choice if you want to go there. And then you can also look at versus the Pistons, just to get an idea of what he's done against Detroit. Last couple of games, 26 and 30 PRA against them. You go back a little further here, not quite as nice, but, more recent games, he's gone over in both of his last games pretty easily with 16 and 30. So he's, 4 of his last 6 covering 20.5 first half PRA. That's pretty good. 4 for his last 6. I'm not mad at that. So I think the over looks pretty decent, Todd. If you want to take Jason Tatum for more than 20.5 first half PRA, because this game does have a high blowout risk, right? We talked about the spread being 12.5. Good total, 226, but the spread 12.5 means Boston will probably blow out Detroit at some point. So for me, yes, it would only be first half. Mr. Lawrence is saying take Bojan Bogdanovic under fantasy. All right. Bogdanovic under fantasy could be a good look. Let's go. Are you talking full game fantasy, first half fantasy? Bogdanovic is at 22.5 for full game fantasy. He's gone over in 3 straight games. 3 straight games. So, yeah, maybe you take the under on Bogdanovic at 22.5. I'm just going to get you a projection because our time is pretty much up for today's show. But I'll quickly look at this one for you. Projected for 23.7. So he's projected for slightly more. It's going to be kind of close, but, if you're feeling more, confident in taking the under, then you could go there, but I'm probably going to just leave that one alone. Let's end the show by making like a first half only ticket. So we talked about Buddy, right? Buddy was a guy that we liked for first half points. I think Jason Tatum at 20.5 PRA looks good. Buddy Hield at 10.5 points look good. What are some other first half options that you guys are liking? Let's build out a 5-pick first half only play. What about Isaiah Stewart? We talked about his full game. His full game being an option for fantasy score or for PRA. Do we like him for first half only? Let's look at the first half. It's a little more shaky. Oh, we talked about Zubac. Yeah, Zubac could make for a fine first half fantasy score play. I could rock with Zoo. Let's get Zubac on there at 14.5 first half fantasy. Last couple of games have been bad, but he's going up against the Lakers, his former team. So I'm going to rock with that. I like the matchup for him. Lakers really bad. We know that they're really bad defensively, especially against bigs. Somebody was mentioning Anthony Davis first half fantasy. That could be a good look. AD, but I think LeBron is going to play tonight. So that could be a problem. But Anthony Davis maybe for more than 21.5 first half fantasy score going up against Zubac. Let's just take a look and see. I'm curious now. Anthony Davis first half FanDuel points versus Clippers logs. I just want to see how he's done against LA. 22.8 in the last time that they played on 10-20. 26.9. So he's gone over in both of his last games. Go back a little further here. 24.3, 22.1, 28.4, 28.6. So he's gone over in what? 4, 5, 6. 6 out of his last 9 against the Clippers. Okay. Get on board with that. I don't mind some AD over first half fantasy going up against Zoo. I'll take that. Both of these guys ended up going over against each other in their last 2 games. So we'll go with that little same game mashup. What else are we liking? I know Josh Giddey under first half PRA and fantasy score has been pretty good. Kind of see what Giddey's been up to his last, we'll call last 4 games. He's hit 14.5 or less on the first half. So that could be a good look, going under on Giddey for fantasy score or PRA. Let me look at his PRA line real quick. Where's Josh Giddey at today for PRA? Is he up on the board? Got a tough matchup, right? Going up against Milwaukee. Do they have a Giddey PRA for us? They do not. They do not. They've left Giddey PRA out. How convenient. Not. Okay. Well, we could still take the under on Giddey's first half PR or first half fantasy. Are we liking that one, gang? Giddey under first half fantasy. He's only covered this in 1 out of his last 4 games. StatMuse is free, David. Check it out. Completely free. StatMuse. I'm going to take a shot here with Giddey under 14.5 first half fantasy. What do we think about this? So we got Tatum over 20.5 PRA, Buddy over 10.5 first half points, Zubac over 14.5 first half fantasy, Davis over 21.5 first half fantasy, and we got Giddey from less than 14.5 first half fantasy. Caldwell Pope, Everyday Fantasy saying, what about Contavious Caldwell Pope first half fantasy? I think I'm going to wait on that until we get confirmation on MPJ, right? Kind of want to see what's going on with Michael Porter Jr. before I click any Denver Nuggets. Where the hell is he? Did they pull him off the board? Oh, no, he's up there. Hold on. KCP. I don't even see him up here. Oh, there he is. Which way are you wanting to go? Are you wanting to go over or are you wanting to go under on KCP? I think I'm going to wait. Roy's saying that MPJ is not confirmed out so far. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on any Denver props. Appreciate the sub. Thank you to Doan Ross. Guys, make sure you're subscribed if you're not yet. Hit notifications. Make sure they're on so you don't miss when I go live. Drop a like on today, and then when the replay goes up, leave a comment in the comment section with your favorite pick of the day. All right, and you'll get entered in to win a free entry on PrizePicks to score yourself $100. So it's a 2-pick power. You get them both right, you win $100. Automatically entered. All you have to do is subscribe, like, and leave a comment. That's it. Todd's coming through with the huge super chat. Appreciate the $10 super chat, my man. He says, thank you for the Tatum info. Ever since watching you last season, I have loved being on here on my 2 days off, and I always catch the replays on my work days. Thanks for all you do. Todd, big thank you to you as well. Salute to you, man. I appreciate all that love, man. It means a lot that you guys like what we're doing here. But yeah, with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and lock this in and then we will... do I want to lock this in or do I want to go with Isaiah Stewart first half fantasy? Ooh, decisions. It's going to be close. Do we like Josh Giddey for less than 14.5 first half fantasy, or do we like Isaiah Stewart for more than first half fantasy more? Got decisions to make, gang. All right, I'm going with it. I'm just going to roll with that. So we locked in 2 5-picks. This is a first half only 5-pick. Tatum over 20.5 PRA, Hill for more than 10.5 first half points, Zubac for more than 14.5 first half fantasy, Anthony Davis for more than 21.5 first half fantasy, and Josh Giddey for less than 14.5 first half fantasy. And then on the flip side, we got another 5-pick with Zubac for more than 28.5 full game fantasy, Ja Morant for more than 28.5 points, Devin Vassell for more than 18.5 points. It's been bumped from 17.5 to 18.5. Still like it at 18.5. Buddy Hield for more than 3.5 3-point makes. And Tyrese Halliburton, his teammate, for more than 19.5 points. So those are the 2 5-picks that I'm going for. You guys are shouting out Patrick Williams first half fantasy. All you got to do is come here to StatMuse and type in Patrick Williams first half FanDuel points. And then you guys can look at those for yourself and do a little bit of independent research. But there's his first half FanDuel points from this season. for anybody that's curious. All right, gang, 1 hour time limit. We've gone over. Sorry about that for keeping everybody so long. But until next time, good luck on your entries. 13 games tonight. We're going to be in Discord and Patreon, breaking it all down, getting into the weeds, getting into the stats. So if you want to join the community, link down in the description below. Help support the show, help support what I do. Join the community, get access to my picks and everybody else's picks. Appreciate the love, y'all. Good luck.